이렇게 귀한 설 연휴에 검은 수녀들과 함께 해주셔서 정말 감사드립니다.
Lovely viewers, gather close, get comfortable, and prepare yourselves for one of the most emotional, heart-touching stories we've ever shared on this channel. Today's episode takes us deep into a moment so raw, so vulnerable, and so deeply human that even longtime fans of song Hye Kyo and Minho were left speechless. Imagine a quiet room, soft lights, a camera capturing a confession that the world was never meant to hear, but now has become a message of hope, healing, love, and second chances. Because today we dive into the moment when Song Hye Kyo, with tears quietly rising in her eyes, admitted, "I thought I was too old for kids, but Minho still chose me." Lovely viewers, let's walk through this story as if we were right there beside her, holding her hand. It all began during an intimate sit-down interview. One meant to be light-hearted, a simple behind-the-scenes chat about her journey as an actress, her career milestones, and her stunning rise back into the spotlight after years of emotional storms. But as soon as the interviewer gently shifted the topic toward her private life, specifically her new chapter with Minho, something changed in the air. The room grew quieter. Her smile softened. And for the first time in a long time, she allowed the world to see the emotional battle she had carried inside her chest for years. Lovely viewers, just imagine her sitting there in a simple white dress, her hair falling gently over her shoulders, her expression elegant yet vulnerable. Not the superstar, not the icon, but the woman behind it all. And when she opened her mouth to speak, her voice trembled ever so slightly. She said she had convinced herself that perhaps motherhood was something she would never experience. Not because she didn't want it, but because life, time, heartbreak, and the pressures of fame had made her believe certain doors were already closed. She opened up about feeling like her age had become a silent enemy, following her into every new relationship, every new chapter, whispering to her that she had missed her chance. And viewers, she didn't say this with bitterness. She said it with honesty. Honesty that only someone who has lived through the storms of love and loss can express. Then came the moment that stunned everyone watching. She said that whenever conversations about children came up, she felt herself shrinking inside. She didn't want to disappoint anyone. She didn't want to be seen as someone who could no longer offer what other women could. She didn't want to be loved with conditions, expectations, or silent timelines. But then came Minho. Lovely viewers, imagine the impact of a man who walks into a woman's life not to change who she is, not to fix what life has broken, but to choose her exactly as she is. She said that Minho never once made her feel like she was lacking anything. Not once did he pressure her. Not once did he show worry about her age. Not once did he make her feel like motherhood was a responsibility she had to fulfill to be worthy of his love. Instead, he told her something that completely shattered her fears. "I'm choosing you. Not what you can give me. Just you." And viewers, at that moment during the interview, she paused. Her hands gently folded on her lap, her eyes glistening with tears. You could sense that she was reliving the moment, remembering how his words healed a part of her she thought would stay wounded forever. She shared that Minho not only accepted her worries, but embraced them. He told her that family wasn't defined by biology alone, that love isn't measured by time left, but by the willingness to build something beautiful with whatever time two people have together. He made her feel young again, not in years but in hope. He gave her confidence she thought she had lost forever. Lovely viewers, can you imagine someone rebuilding your strength simply by loving you loudly and gently at the same time? She said that one of the most emotional moments she ever experienced was when Minho told her, with total sincerity in his eyes, "You're not too old for anything. Not for love, not for happiness, and not for children, if that's what destiny still has for us." These words didn't just comfort her. They revived her. She confessed that she cried that night in private, not out of sadness, but because she finally felt seen. Truly seen. Not as an actress. Not as a public figure. Not as someone the world loves for her beauty or iconic roles. But as a woman with fears, hopes, scars, and dreams. Lovely viewers, it was during this part of the interview that many fans watching live began crying too. You could almost hear the collective heartbeat of millions who understood her pain. Women who felt too old. Women who felt too late. Women who felt like love had passed them by. Her story wasn't just about her. It became a voice for anyone who has ever doubted whether they were still deserving of a new beginning. But what truly stunned fans was when she revealed how Minho helped her open her heart to possibilities again, including the possibility of becoming a mother. She said that Minho didn't treat it like a race against time. Instead, he treated it like a journey they would walk together at the same pace, hand in hand. He normalized the conversation. He didn't shy away from it, nor did he make it a heavy topic. He approached it with hope, patience, and tenderness. Imagine a man who says, "Whatever happens, we will face it together." That is what he gave her. Lovely viewers, this is where the story becomes even more emotional. She admitted that before Minho, she had secretly grieved the idea of motherhood. She had moments where she avoided baby announcements, celebrity pregnancy news, or anything related to kids because it reopened old wounds. Silent grief is the hardest kind, because nobody sees your tears, nobody knows your heartbreak, and nobody hears the dreams you buried to protect yourself. But Minho brought those dreams back to life. Not by forcing them but by simply believing in her. He treated her like someone who still had every right to hope, every right to be happy, every right to dream of a family, no matter her age. She shared a story from early in their relationship, a moment so personal that fans nearly stopped breathing. She revealed that one evening, while they were watching a drama together at home, Minho randomly said, "If we ever have a child, I want them to have your eyes." Lovely viewers, those words melted her. Because for the first time, someone spoke of a future with her without making her feel insecure about whether it was still possible. He spoke with love, not pressure. Optimism, not expectation. That moment planted a seed of hope she thought she had lost. And it wasn't just about having a baby. It was about belonging, about feeling chosen, about being loved beyond circumstances or age. She said that Minho helped her embrace the possibility of motherhood without fear. He reminded her that children, like love, come in perfect timing, not according to society's opinions, not according to biology alone, but according to destiny. Lovely viewers, how beautiful is that? As the interview went on, she continued opening up, her voice steady but emotional. She talked about how she had believed people only wanted her younger version, the fresh-faced actress in her 20s. But Minho loved her present self. He loved the woman shaped by experience, wisdom, strength, and resilience. Lovely viewers, imagine the scene right after the interview wrapped up. Cameras stopped rolling, staff members began quietly packing up equipment, and the atmosphere, still heavy with emotion, seemed to cling to the walls. Hye Kyo remained seated for a moment longer, her hands still on her lap, her mind still replaying the memories she had opened up about. And as she sat there, someone entered the room, softly, quietly, like he knew she needed him the moment her guard came down. 'Twas Minho. He didn't rush to her. He didn't overwhelm her with questions. He simply walked up, knelt gently in front of her, and took both of her hands into his. Lovely viewers, imagine that level of tenderness, a tenderness strong enough to drown out every insecurity she had just revealed to the world. He looked into her eyes and whispered, "You were so brave today." Hye Kyo's eyes, already softened from the earlier emotional storm, grew warm with a mix of relief and vulnerability. And then, something happened that would later become a moment fans couldn't stop talking about. She leaned forward and rested her forehead against his, letting out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. Minho gently squeezed her hands, as if grounding her back into safety, and whispered something only the two of them heard. Words so intimate that witnesses later said they felt like they were intruding on a sacred moment. But what the world didn't know was that later, during his own interview, Minho finally opened up about how he truly felt the first time she confessed her fears about children and age to him in private. Lovely viewers, imagine Minho sitting in front of the camera, calm and sincere, with that subtle intensity in his eyes that fans know so well. The interviewer asked him softly, "How did you feel when she told you she thought she was too old to have kids?" He paused, looked down, then let out a slow breath, as though the memory itself carried weight. Finally, he said, "I didn't want her to carry that burden. Not alone, not ever." And viewers, this wasn't just a statement, it was a promise. He went on to explain that the first time Hye Kyo told him about her fears, they had been sitting on a balcony, wrapped in blankets, watching the city lights flicker beneath them. The night was quiet, the air cool, and she had opened up in a way that made him realize just how much pain she had hidden behind her graceful smile. He said she spoke with hesitation, as though expecting him to pull away or rethink the relationship. But instead, he reached for her hand and told her something he has never repeated publicly, until now. "You are the future I want. With or without children. With or without guarantees. I want you." Lovely viewers, imagine how healing those words must have been. He continued by saying that he wished she could see herself through his eyes. To him, she wasn't someone who had missed her chance. She was someone who had lived, endured, grown, survived, and become even more radiant. Minho then admitted something even more surprising, something that fans weren't expecting. He said, "When she said she thought she was too old, I realized she had been carrying that fear alone for too long. And I promised myself that I would never let her feel alone like that again." Lovely viewers, can you feel the weight of that promise? The sincerity, the devotion. He shared that whenever she has moments of doubt, and yes, even after their relationship strengthened, she still had moments when age whispered insecurity into her ear. He gently reminds her, "Loving you has nothing to do with what we might or might not have. Loving you is already everything." He explained that he wants to build a life with her that celebrates love in every form, whether that includes children or not. He said that what matters most is that they walk through life together, supporting each other, laughing together, healing together, and discovering new dreams, no matter what age they reach. Lovely viewers, one of the most touching confessions came when Minho spoke about the quiet nights at home, when Hye Kyo would fall asleep on the couch after a long day. He said he often finds himself watching her, overwhelmed with gratitude for having her in his life. He shared one moment that completely melted fans. He said he once whispered to her sleeping form, "Thank you for choosing me too." That one line, that one private admission, it showed that for Minho, their love isn't a charity or sacrifice. It's mutual, cool, beautifully reciprocal. He explained that people often talk about how much he uplifts her, but they don't see what she gives him. Peace, the maturity, the grounding, the emotional sanctuary. He said she makes him want to be softer, kinder, more present, more sincere, and that her strength inspires him every day. Lovely viewers, Minho didn't stop there. He revealed something that left many fans emotional, that he had quietly prepared himself for the possibility of not having biological children from the moment they became serious. Not because he doubted her, but because he didn't want his love to become pressure. He said, "I didn't want her to feel like she had to choose between loving me and fearing disappointment. If children come, they come. If not, then love will still be complete." Imagine that level of reassurance. Imagine a love that doesn't place conditions, demands, or silent expectations. A love that bows gently to reality and embraces what is possible instead of clinging to what is not. Lovely viewers, that is what makes their relationship so deeply inspiring. Minho also shared how he reassures her in small ways, ways most people never see. Like placing a hand over hers when she grows quiet, or reminding her to rest when she pushes herself too hard, or telling her randomly out of nowhere, "You look so beautiful today." Not because she's dressed up, not because she's filming, but because she exists. He said he wants her to know every single day that she is enough, that her age is not a flaw but a chapter, that loving her is not a compromise but a blessing. Lovely viewers, after his interview aired, something incredible happened. Fans around the world began sharing stories of their own relationships. Partners who loved them past their insecurities, past their fears, past the ticking clock of time. And in return, Many people said Minho's words gave them hope that love can still be gentle, that love can still be kind, that love can still choose you even when you feel unworthy. But wait, there's more, something even more intimate. After both interviews aired, reports surfaced about a private conversation they had at home, when they finally sat together without cameras, without staff, without the outside world watching. During that conversation, Hye Kyo reportedly looked at him and asked quietly, "Why me?" Not in insecurity but in genuine wonder. And do you know what he told her? "Because loving you feels like coming home." Lovely viewers, that line alone could write 1,000 love stories. When we stopped last, we stood right at the edge of a moment where Lee Minho promised to walk beside her with an open heart, no matter what the future holds. But what happened after that private conversation between them, after loving you feels like coming home, is something that not even the cameras, fans, or insiders fully expected. That night, as they continued sitting together, their hands still intertwined, the atmosphere between them softened even further. Hye Kyo's eyes, still damp from emotional honesty, searched his face with the kind of vulnerability that only surfaces when you feel safe, truly safe. She asked him softly, "Do you ever think about what our family might look like?" It wasn't a question filled with expectation. It wasn't a test. It was simply the voice of a woman who finally felt brave enough to dream again. Minho didn't hesitate. He pulled her closer, not in a dramatic, sweeping gesture, but in that subtle, intentional way that tells you everything without a single word. He held her head against his chest, stroked her hair gently and said, "I think about us. That's all. The rest is whatever life wants to give, and whatever we embrace together." Lovely viewers, imagine that level of acceptance, a love that isn't rooted in conditions but in partnership. But Hye Kyo pressed a little further, not out of fear this time, but out of honesty. She whispered, "What if the children we imagine never come?" That silence, lovely viewers, was heavy but not cold. Minho's hand moved to her cheek as he lifted her face to meet his gaze, and he answered with a sincerity that made her heart tremble. "Then we will still have a beautiful life. And if destiny wants us to be parents in another way, through adoption, through giving someone a home, then that will be our path. You and I will raise a child with love, not pressure." Those words changed everything. It wasn't just reassurance. It was a declaration that parenthood for him wasn't tied to biology. It was tied to love. He wasn't offering her a backup plan. He was expanding the possibilities of what family could mean for them. Lovely viewers, many people don't know this, but insiders close to the couple shared a touching detail about that same night. After their emotional talk, Minho brought out a small notebook he had been secretly keeping. In it were handwritten notes, dreams he had for their future. Not extravagant fantasies, not scripted romantic lines, just real, simple, heartfelt desires. And inside those pages, Hye Kyo found something that melted her completely. A small list titled, "Things I Want to Experience with You." On the list were things like, grow old together gracefully, travel without itinerary, build a peaceful home, adopt a dog, plant a tree on our anniversary. And the final one, written in smaller handwriting as if he was shy to even put it into words, hold your hand while we raise a child together, in whatever form destiny chooses. Lovely viewers, imagine the tears that must have filled her eyes at that moment.